So Buggy's Gone Wild. I've had quite a few people ask me about this cage in particular for my 83 G1, the body folding up, how that all works, how it still obtains some level of safety. So I'm just going to walk through real quick. I got the front body off because I redid some suspension stuff. I kind of went with the chain to lift up front on top of my jakes. I've got about 11 inches of lift now. So while the front was off, I figured it'd be easier to show my mounting points on the front of the cage. Basically behind your cowl where I guess the rubber trim molded, there's two threaded nuts here. And I just happen to have a couple bolts in my shop that are Phillips head or flathead. They're pretty good size. They're 1/2 inch, 3/8. I'm not sure what the thread pitch is on them. Basically, they go through, and these plates right here are actually the original plates off of the G1 top. I didn't use the top, so there's 4 of these that mount to the back. We'll talk about that later. I took 2 of these, put them up front, basically screwed them down, got my 90-degree bends, measured everything, and then tacked it on, pulled it off and welded it. So that's how we get the front. So I've always got a Phillips head screwdriver in my tool bag on my golf cart, so if I go anywhere and need to get the motor, back those out. Is it the strongest thing in the world? Probably not, but I've laid this thing over on the side twice. If it wasn't for this dude right here, I would have rolled over on top of it. So, cool. Moving on to the back. Alright, moving on to the back. I do want to point out that this entire cage, roll bar, upper brush guard, whatever anybody calls it, is made out of 1.25" Schedule 40. All bent with the Harbor Freight bender, welded with a Flux Harbor Freight welder. I had a really nice Miller-Matic gas welder, sold it, working on getting another one. Well, they weld way better, obviously. But Harbor Freight Tools, they sell some stuff that's okay that you can work with. So most of my stuff's been done with Harbor Freight stuff. I bolted it down in the stock places where the top went because there's actually a metal subframe on this entire body that's sturdy enough to withstand the weight and strong enough to support it. These are the other 2 stock mounts that came with the G1 top. I just bolted them down, got this bar, got the crossbars, and then came in and added the extra support with a 1/4x2 plate back here. There's 2 holes for each one in the body, but I only went with 1, and I hadn't had any problems with it yet. So, and this is the part that everybody's interested about, is the whole body tipping up and everything. This cage, I think this stuff weighs like 2 pounds a square foot or something like that. So, and there's about close to 30 square foot of cage on here. So that's an extra 60 pounds. So I got these seats from Summit Racing. They're 13 pounds a piece. So, you know, all in all, with nobody on it, the whole thing, cage and the top together, is only carrying an extra, you know, maybe less than 60 pounds, which is, you know, a small human child. So it's really not that noticeable as far as weight goes. Okay, talk about the front, talk about the back. We're going to talk about how the whole thing flips back. I mean, it flips back just like a stock G1 with a stock top, just a little more weight to it, which I think I may have saved a pound or 2 with these seats. Plus they look awesome. So, you know, you basically just pop these 2 bolts out, one here, one up there. If I ever run into a situation where these get bent or I need to support them, I can run off the frame and do some stuff. I hadn't had that problem yet, so hadn't done anything about it. But basically, grab the front, grab the seat handle, flip it back. That's it. You'd be surprised how strong the stock G1 setup is as far as the top leaning back. And it's actually, if you've got big enough tires and a bumper up front, I think it's enough weight to keep it from flipping back, which Slow, I believe, has a winch and some other stuff up front, and an ATV front end, so maybe his is a little heavier up there. He was one of the main ones asking about this. If we take a look at where it bolts into the thing, into the subframe under the body, you can see where I've just got 2 bolts on the back on each side, and it's been plenty strong enough to hold up that cage. And that cage has been on there since May, and this thing has been opened at least 1,000 times since then. The motor's been pulled out 3 or 4 times, so and it works well. So here's the 2 bolt points. As you can see behind these wires, there's actually 4 places to bolt. I did 1 on each corner. It's been plenty strong enough. It goes to this subframe. I'm not sure what the gauge thickness on it, being that this is a Yamaha, it's probably, a metric measurement, it's not going to be an 1/8 inch or whatever, but it looks about like an 1/8 inch. Pretty strong, hadn't had any problems with it. This dude right here, make sure you got that thing bolted back in before you tip that cage back, otherwise that cage is going to slam the drive away. But that basically sums up how this cage works. And then whenever you get ready to close it, simply I just push up from the back and kind of stand up on the back bumper and drop it down softly and bolt it back up front and you're good to go. Alright, real quick, also had some questions about this G2 cage. This is my buddy's G2 cage. We built this one last week before Christmas. And basically same thing, schedule 40 1.25 inch. The straight pieces are what the Steelyard calls roll cage material. So if you build stock car, dirt track cars or any of that stuff, you just tell them stock car roll cage. And that's what they gave me. It's a little bit small. It's 1.25 inch, but the wall's thinner, so outside diameter is a little smaller. So just gonna walk through where this bolts up, where the bends are, how it fits, all that. I'll stop it. Okay, he wanted the cage to bolt to the outside of the cart, kind of an exoskeleton. He wants to go back and add a bar from here to here, so it's kind of got this exo cage look. But we got 2 bolts mounted to the front. Just made that at 1/4 by 2. I think it's 4 inches long is what that is, with the bolt holes 1/2 inch off each side. We went up, did like a 45 degree, we didn't check them exactly, kind of a lot of eyeballing here, but a lot of, you know, patient eyeballing to make sure it's as close as can be, to get the angle of this the front bar, which is just 2 90s in each corner, welded crossbar in the middle to keep it nice and sturdy. Like I said, some of the straight pieces are the roll cage material. It's not schedule 40, so it's a little bit smaller diameter. And the back bar is just 2 90s basically, and we got 1 bolt in the back, same idea outside, which is super easy. When you want to take the cage off, you pull a bolt out here, pull 2 bolts out there, and the cage picks up straight up off the cart and comes off. And then we're gonna add, he wants to add a back seat, but for now, we just got the cage done, real sturdy, looks pretty good. Needs another paint job, but you can tell from the Harbor Freight bender up here, you can see that it kind of kinks a little bit, which I think some people have come up with some ways to keep that from happening, by putting like a 1/2 plate in between them, and then or making just a spacer there to keep that from happening. We can go back with Bondo and fill that in. He said he wasn't worried about it. I didn't do it on mine, so I think it came out pretty good. It's a 92, I think it's a G9 actually. It may be a G2, who knows? They all look the same.